Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the concepts of spectral lines. What are they? Why do they form? And most importantly, what can they tell us about atoms? So, let's get started. When we talk about spectral lines, we're talking about the bright or dark lines we see when we split light into different colors, like a rainbow. Imagine shining light through a glass prism. It separates the light into bands of colors. These lines show up in the colors we see and are a way for us to tell which elements, like hydrogen or helium, are in the light source. Each line represents a specific color or type of light, which helps scientists know what kind of atoms are in a star or a flame. Think of it as a fingerprint for elements. Just like your fingerprints are unique to you, each element has its own unique set of spectral lines. Spectral lines happen because of changes in an atom's energy. Here's how it works. When an atom takes in energy, its electrons get excited and jump to a higher level, like climbing up a ladder. But they don't stay there for long. When they return to a lower level, they release that extra energy as light. This light's color, or wavelength, shows up as a line in a spectrum. So, each time an electron moves down, it makes a specific color of light that tells us something about the atom. Now, how these spectral lines are formed. To understand this, we need to talk about something called electron transitions. In an atom, the electron can occupy various energy levels, which are represented by the quantum number. When the electron moves from a higher energy level to a lower one, it emits energy in the form of light. This emitted light is what we see as spectral lines. The energy difference between levels determines the wavelength. For example, when an electron moves from 3 to 2, it emits a photon that corresponds to a wavelength. In the red part of the visible spectrum, this red line is known as the H-alpha line. Why study hydrogen's spectral lines? Hydrogen is the simplest element because it has just one electron. But even though it's simple, studying hydrogen has taught scientists much about how atoms work. In the late 1800s, scientists first looked at the spectral lines of hydrogen, and these studies helped them understand the basic rules of atomic structure and energy. Hydrogen's spectral lines are beneficial because they are clear and easy to predict. By studying this pattern, scientists can also learn more about the structure of more complex atoms. Let's talk about hydrogen's spectrum. Hydrogen's spectrum is divided into a few series, each representing a different range of wavelengths. The most famous one is the Balmer series. The Balmer series includes the spectral lines visible to the human eye. Each line in the Balmer series corresponds to an electron in the hydrogen atom dropping to the second energy level. The amount of energy released determines the color and wavelength of each line. In the early 1880s, a scientist named Johann Balmer discovered a mathematical relationship for the visible lines of hydrogen. Later, a Swedish physicist named Johannes Rydberg generalized this formula, which became known as the Rydberg formula. The Rydberg formula helps predict the wavelengths of spectral lines for hydrogen and similar atoms, as you can see on the screen. Where lambda is the wavelength, RH is the Rydberg constant for hydrogen, and N1 and N2 are the energy levels. This formula tells us the wavelengths of the light emitted when an electron moves from one energy level to another in hydrogen. In 1913, Niels Bohr used the spectral lines of hydrogen to develop a model of the atom that incorporated quantum mechanics. According to the Bohr model, electrons exist in specific quantized orbits around the nucleus, each with a fixed energy, which means that electrons could only exist in certain energy levels. This idea paved the way for modern quantum mechanics. Applications of spectral lines. In astronomy, they're used to determine the composition, temperature, and motion of stars and galaxies. In chemistry, spectral analysis can identify substances in a lab. Forensics experts also use it to analyze chemical samples at crime scenes. All of this is thanks to the understanding of spectral lines that began with the simple hydrogen atom. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. See you in the next one.